regularly scheduled meeting of the Landmark Preservation Board for the City of Syracuse. It is March 2nd, and present here today are
Tom Caswell,
Bob Haley,
Julia Marshall,
Jeff Romano,
Cynthia Carter,
Kate Auwetter,
and your Hertzberg.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. First order of business is acceptance of the minutes. Has everyone had a chance to read and to review the minutes? And if so, are there any comments?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
All right. I have some, I'd like to make some notes if I could.
I have a couple of comments as
Okay,
well.
go ahead. Let's go for comments. Thank you.
Old business, third line concerning MISPA, vinyl windows, should we add in replacement windows? Because they're not reusing the historic opening, they're actually infilling the opening a little bit. Same body, halfway down, acknowledge. At the end of the sentence, first word in the end of the sentence, first word in the start off.
Okay, yep.
Acknowledged.
Yep.
Should have a D on it.
I had a few other comments in that same section of
Acknowledged.
old business.
That's all I have.
I think just a few comments, and bear with me here as usual. After Mike Frasina on, again, the Mitzpah Tower, it should say project architect or architect.
Okay.
Continuing in the fourth line down, it was noted that 120 out of the 140 windows had been replaced without the required, I'd like to add, the required application, comma, board review, or approval, so just required application.
Okay.
Continuing in that section, in a sentence, mid-paragraph, nonetheless, board members stated that the owner had circumvented the required SLPB review, add required,
Okay.
and continuing, I think it should be clarified as to what the board, in the last sentence of that paragraph, the board unanimously approved the motion to deny the application based on inappropriate window type, material, and design. So that's very clear on what the denial was.
Okay.
I'm sorry for being so detailed, but these are key words. I think regarding the Mitzpah Temple,
Or the
Wait,
temple.
Madison
I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Temple Concord, I apologize. About roughly the third sentence down, starting with, in this case, this includes only the building and land that is locally designated. That is the sanctuary, comma, the original 1910-1911 building. I think sanctuary should be defined because it's a term that needs definition. And then in the next sentence, midway through again, texture, materials, and color of the building's components involved in their relationship to the original sanctuary. If you could add that, original sanctuary. Okay, we're almost done. I think the rest of it can stand clearly. Thank you. Okay. Are there any comments on the comments or corrections?
That's a good clarification, Bob.
All those in favor of accepting the minutes, signify aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Thank you very much. Now let's move on to, I believe, Kate, and always correct me if you need to, old business. There's no old business. I always said here at this point, everything we do is old business. New business, certificate of appropriateness, Wendell Terrace. Would you folks like to come up and we'll get you a couple of chairs. Sorry about that. Take what you wish, thanks.
Grab it. Yeah, take mine. Please, you can check mine.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Please introduce yourself again. Thank you.
Kate and Chris Fernandez, 115 Wendell Terrace.
Great.
This application is for a raised patio off of our kitchen to go out to the pool that was approved last year.
Right.
Currently, there's no access from that side of the house outside at all, so what we have to do is go out the back door, through the garage, and around the yard, which is awkward and certainly not ideal, so hence the desire for the patio. So on the front of the house, there is a similar raised patio. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but so in keeping with consistency of the architecture, we decided that that would be a far better approach than like a deck or something of that nature on the backside of the property. So there's drawings and
No, that's good. We reviewed them. We had, I think, one clarification question.
Sure.
There would need to be, in this patio, railings continuing down the sides of the stairs. Again, that would, is a code requirement, and therefore probably would follow your iron railing.
It would be the same design. And that photo rendering I did quickly and a Microsoft product, which is not the
There you go.
greatest.
No, I know.
I figured it gave a clearer representation than just the little sketches.
It does work. We could see a good rendering without technical accuracy. What I mean by that is it's not 2 steps down there. There's probably 3 to 4 steps,
Right.
if you know what I mean. Those kinds of details. So are there any questions on clarification from the board about what is being included in this application?
Just had a couple of comments. The removal of the existing decorative balconies,
Yes.
you're going to put them in storage or reuse them on site?
You know,
They're just not going to be tossed, right? So
No, I would love to reuse them. One possibility that I came up with, and I don't know how feasible it is to, on the sides of the patio, to include them as almost like a planter box, kind of a bump out, so it would overhang. I just don't know from an ironworking standpoint if they could be incorporated into the new railing or how they would have to be attached, but that's one possibility.
Sure, we just like to see any
Yeah.
historic
No, I think
material
they're cool,
on
too.
the property retained.
And they could be
Even if they go in storage in your garage or basement.
to be used later and as you chose.
I have just one clarifying question, and that was, your design of the railing on the new patio.
Yes.
That you're drawing, but you made a remark about it, you just did it with on the computer,
Yes.
that it's quite a bit less delicate than
So it's intended
the things that are
to...
being removed.
Yeah, so it's intended to match the Juliet balconies on the front of the house.
Okay.
So there's 3 windows that go across the front, which is the living room, and there's Juliet balconies with vertical iron.
Exactly.
And so it will match that, like I said. The
Absolutely.
photo is a mock-up that I just thought was...
Sure.
We're going to use Rowley to what we did with the
Great.
front
Super.
gate, so we'll duplicate what's there.
Yep, very well. One of the issues here is accuracy of your drawings in order to go ahead, and I apologize. In other words, I was looking for dimensions.
I was looking for the same, and they are there.
They're on the architect's rendering.
14
Sorry to bring them back.
Yeah, I'm sorry that they're so small, but...
Should have blown them up.
No, but you can see the numbers, but they're pretty little.
Well, I was looking at the elevations as well for hand railing height and steps, those types of things.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, Julia, go ahead. You had the floor.
Two comments. With the handrail that goes down, just make sure that you have the appropriate extension on the end, which is
Okay.
a code thing. The other thing is, can you confirm or let us know, you're moving the condensing units to the right,
Yes.
and you're indicating what appears to be an enclosure. Is the enclosure also made out of iron?
I do not have a specific plan for the enclosure for the condensing units.
Because it says a 40-inch high screen.
48.
Okay.
Or 48,
I got you.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
detail.
I guess I might recommend that it matches the ironwork that you're doing. I mean, aesthetically, that would make sense over something else.
Or consider landscaping. That's another option.
Yeah,
That was the
that was my thought, is that it would be set back
Plantings.
more against the house and then have space for plantings in front of it.
Yeah.
With given airspace, because
Yeah, you need a
plantings can do damage to condensing
3-foot
units.
clearance.
It's true.
I think
So that's why I'm just suggesting,
Okay.
depending on what that enclosure is, you'd have plantings maybe in front of it, which would be great, and then you won't see it.
Yeah.
In this kind of review, we're making recommendations based on what we see. I think we're recommending a natural landscape screen would be more appropriate and less, yes, would be more appropriate for screening.
Okay.
And you could
I'm
work
fine
the
with that.
details out, and we would then remove the screen wall you have here, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Or if you, yes, that's what I would recommend there. Secondly, I have some other comments relative to the original construction of your house.
Sure.
In your rendering here, we see you've applied for a bluestone
Yes.
deck. That's fine. I looked again at the house carefully, and your limestone trim on this brick of your house
Yes.
is very special and very much strongly part of every opening in the house. And it's also at the base of the entrance and around your pilasters at the north end of the house. So I would recommend to you that this brickwork have a limestone cap,
Okay.
not a bluestone cap, but something to match the house. Use the house vocabulary to build this platform, is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
So
the mason,
around the exterior perimeter,
Yes.
like underneath the railings?
yes,
Okay.
right, and the bluestone could stop behind it. The point here is to use that 5-inch, roughly, whatever it is, it's close to 5, limestone that you see on all your windows, and take, and usually on the base floor, they make it a little bit bigger, so I would measure that, make it clear to the masons.
Okay.
So that is from the house. That would be great. The brick material is also going to be tough to match.
It is.
I have some.
We do have some.
But
Great.
But you're not suggesting that bluestone go away for the pavement?
No, I'm not.
No, just that it is
I said you
bordered.
could stop the bluestone behind that limestone cap or investigate your detail further, but that's typically what would have been done.
Okay.
And then, yeah, brickwork is
Well,
simply,
so that modifies if there's any interior drainage on that too, Bob, if it's just a sheet drain?
it's up to the applicant how you want to drain that.
So the intention
Just a comment.
is, I believe, to have a very slight
Right.
slope to have the water
Makes
run.
sense. That makes sense. Just a slight slope away from the house.
Yeah, definitely.
The arrow right on there.
The stairs would be capped with the bluestone, unless you feel that limestone is a better choice, but that was my intention. Capped with the bluestone and faced with the tan brick similar to the house.
Okay. That takes care of the size. Okay, does everybody have any comments on the size of the patio being requested?
I like the design.
Very good. Okay, let's move to the door. Review the door. Other comments on the door, which is the window and fenestration, and the opening. We didn't even talk about the fact of cutting new opening.
Right.
Is everyone seeing what's going on here, that the two windows will be open and cut? And therefore, there's some brick cutting that has to be finished by
Yes.
mason to turn that corner inward. And then there's the door and the fenestration of the lights to consider.
So the current like mullions in the windows are interior inserts. They are not actual
Right.
separated glass. So I found the company that makes those inserts, and so my intention was to get a full view wooden patio door, 2 of them, and then to buy the inserts to match the rest of them and put those on for consistency. So I feel like it would change. The bottom ones that are missing in this photo are broken, which is why they're not in there. But all the other windows of the house have the
Yep.
Harlequin style grids.
Okay, has the board given that some thought in terms of? Go ahead.
Clarification, are those grids based on historic pattern of what the windows were?
They've been that way for
Do you have any
as long as
indication?
I've ever seen pictures of the house, so I have no idea.
No, it's a good answer.
I imagine they were probably put in there in the 50s or so.
Yeah.
I don't know that duplicates what was original.
No, I know what you're saying. And they're not true divided lights, which means they're probably not, they're not original, period.
Right.
So,
So, well, that leads me to my thought on this would be, for the new doors that you're installing here, just comment if you could reuse the window sill that's there
Yeah,
as your new
drop it
door sill,
down.
right?
Yes, that is the intention.
that's good.
And that door height would be like a 7-foot door?
You measured it, actually, the dimensions are.
Because you're going to go right up to the existing header of
Yes.
the window.
That's the point. It'd be a custom door to the opening.
Just drop the sill down.
Yeah, drop the sill
Yes,
down.
and,
Using the same opening, basically. but-
yep.
Okay, that's
Add another
appropriate.
couple of feet
That's
down.
very appropriate to save as much of the
Yeah,
existing
that's
house.
great. And then my one comment on the door would be, I see it's a wooden door, that's great. To me personally, no mullions is fine. It's just a single light. It reads as a new.
Yeah, what's everybody's view on it? That's one of the main things we wanted to do, is advise you as to, so what are other views on either grills, or no grills on the door? What would be your recommendations here?
I don't really think it's so great to have a mismatch of the patterns. The patterns in the window and the door are not the same.
Okay.
Well, on the
Yep.
patio
Yeah.
elevation
Shows it
here,
differently, but-
it shows it differently. It shows just a small,
On the top.
like a transom
Like a
at
quarter.
the top, which
Yeah.
keeps it the same size as the window pattern.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure and why the architect chose to do it that way. I didn't know if he was just going with what was already existing and
The pattern,
to keep the dimensions of them the same.
Dimensions the same, yeah.
another
Julie?
question there in regards to the doors. So the doors are swinging in, which takes up space for your kitchen. What about screening?
Yeah, that was my follow-up. Storm.
Because, I mean, you could get doors that swing out and then they have internal screens that actually slide over.
Oh, that would be
I mean,
nice.
They're more expensive, but they are rolled up and then you can.
Yeah.
Shade.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing a swinging screen door, it would affect the aesthetic one way or another as well.
Yeah, so my intention is not to add a separate screen door,
Okay.
but I do like that. I didn't realize that that was an option for,
Yeah, there are outswinging doors. You just they have to be ordered correctly that you can outswing, because that's taking up space in your kitchen.
Now,
yeah.
there's two basic advantages with an outswinging door. One is the water seal. It closes it from the outside more from rain coming in. And the negative is that it's not like a typical front door, which swings into your house. So you need to consider that for what you want and how you use it.
Right.
Yeah.
Both are waterproof, but one is kind of more waterproof than the other. But so the in-swinging door might be more domestic and appropriate. The outswinging door has the problem of being out in the weather when it's open and have to be
Right.
shut every time it rains, whatever. The screen can be done in a number of ways. One by the door bender, and they're most appropriate, and they can get a roll screen sideways, which can be added to that package. It may lessen the jam width, and it may not. We don't know that.
Okay.
But I think the essence here is to get the concept of the door the way you want it. And I think what you're hearing, we haven't heard from others. Did you want to say anything?
Well, I just think that keeping the pattern the same as it was with the windows is better than the big pattern on the overall door. And it would be better to be clear than to have it be too large.
Okay.
Mismatched.
So you're saying to mimic the existing muntins that are there?
Yes.
So a half mutton, an upper mutton only is the general recommendation? I mean, that's not our final, because I want to advocate for no muttons, just to have you consider that.
I would agree, the upper portion. If not, I would tend to agree that it should be just clear.
Yeah, I would probably opt to go with nothing if we were going to just do a
Yep,
partial.
just the glass.
lazy.
Because this is non-conforming as it is, because like I said, the bottom
See,
ones
now
are
that's-
broken. The rest of them are all
Yeah.
top to bottom.
Now, that's
so-
exactly the issue we have with additions, when people try and mimic the past as opposed to show the new for what it is. And therefore, I think our general recommendation is to do it as a no muntins at all, a simple
Yeah,
door.
just leave it.
The
That
other
would-
reason is
That's fine.
depending on matching that pattern, where the bottom of the mutton bar hits.
Right.
It could be in a really weird space.
Awkward,
when you're
yeah.
walking out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Okay, so I think,
go with clerical.
I think that's the general, if that's acceptable
Next
to
time,
you.
mullions.
All right, good.
I'm good with that.
What else, any other comments? Have we hit all of the issues here?
I just comment about the infill of the basement window. I don't know if that's a finished space, whatever, but we're modifying.
It is a finished space.
Light
There
and air
are
going in
2 other windows on the back side.
Okay.
So there are 3 windows in that basement family room, so that would just be one less. which is
Obviously, the
fine.
gas meter move is.
Yeah, I already contacted National Grid
That's all,
about that
you know,
one.
that's all that, but, just the downspout you have that comes down in the corner, you have to mitigate that.
Yes.
You don't want that coming across your new patio, dumping water.
I don't know, is that a downspout or is that a chase or something?
No, that's a chase.
corner
In the
here.
corner,
The downspout connects to the gutter.
there is a downspout that comes out right about here. Yeah, there is a
Okay.
downspout
So
there,
they just have to go to the front on this side.
and it comes out, actually, right now, it comes, you can't see it, but it's kind of like leaning, you can see that little line right there? It actually is dumping out into the yard.
Yeah, and
Like,
okay.
Yeah, I just, obviously that's gonna have to get modified.
there's a chase in the corner, and there's also for like the line set for the HVAC that's in the attic.
Oh, yeah,
And
okay.
it's snug into the
It's
corner
got that
there.
cover on it going up right in
then
the corner.
there's, right alongside it is a gutter downspout that comes out.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the back of your house up close, but you have a light well there for the windows, right?
Yes.
I would be cautious there and get advice on the drainage so that your new construction doesn't damage that in any way.
Yeah,
So that all
agreed.
works. Okay. All right. I think we've done everything here on the application. The size of the platform.
I assume
the materials.
you've just got like a concrete walkway or a brick walkway to connect to your pool deck?
Yeah, so,
Not sure, but I just assume that's, you're not gonna
Two
walk
options.
across the grass, you can bring it
right, two options. One is a pea gravel with like a bluestone, stepping stone pattern for the little space, just to break it up so it's not so monotonous. That's my preferred option. The other is that we could do a full, bluestone.
It's not gonna be much.
Walkway. No, it
because
won't
once you take
actually
the
end up that
distance,
much,
The
but-
elevation for the patio is gonna be pretty close to the height of the edge of the slope there, because the pool had the,
It
Yeah,
rises-
now
it
there's
rises.
the distance from
Yeah.
the step to the, like, the
it's gonna
whole
be a
deck.
long distance. It's
Yeah,
gonna be
maybe it's 8 feet,
Yeah.
flagstone.
but
Well, wait a
we,
minute, we've got this.
we need this,
Is this happening?
I don't know. I don't know if
Let's see.
that arc area is there.
There's a photo showing the concrete that's there.
So, yeah, so the red colored stuff around the pool, that's already done.
It's a bluestone.
Is that the correct distance there, is shown?
To be honest, I don't
The
know.
photograph shows it a
As far
little.
as where the pool's
Right,
set,
so-
everything about the dimensions of
I think it will actually be a few feet more than this shows. I stuck that little patio mock-up there myself. It is certainly not accurate dimensions, but,
I just didn't, yeah, I
No,
just
it's
didn't see
really
it, and
not.
I want to make sure that you're aware of it.
yeah, so that's what I was thinking, like a pea gravel with an inset bluestone stepping stone, probably a regular shaped bluestone slabs.
It's fine with me.
Okay, I think we have a general guidelines, and I think we have a list, Kate, that the applicant has generally and maybe specifically agreed to. Let's be clear on that.
You want to just-
Let's do it in reverse. The plan that you've shown us is, I was going to say in reverse. The door is going to be no muntins and
Correct.
and it will be at your call, in swinging or out swinging at your call.
Without a storm door?
Not my call, your call.
Correct, no
Your
storm
call.
door.
Then back to the bluestone is appropriate for the flooring of it, sloped away, as you would do, and adding a limestone cap to match the building on top of the brick and below the bluestone, or you can tuck the bluestone behind it, which would be most appropriate.
Okay.
And then your railing can go into the top of the limestone cap. That would be the traditional way. That's the way the rest of your house is built. Brickwork to match, either by reuse of some you have or spend the extra effort to match it in any way you can. It's rather critical. Obviously, you know that.
Yes.
Railing shall continue down to per code, down the stairs, and the steps will comply with obviously code. Kate, do we need another drawing on this because of the drawings? Yeah, generally,
When they go to the
Codes.
test, the
Yeah.
test will require.
they will do the work.
They'll need,
So,
yeah.
in the interest of cost, our architect did a fairly,
Yeah,
basic
quick, yeah.
drawing. And then I told him we'll be back for build drawings once we have approval.
Yep.
So,
Fine, so we could,
So when you have those and you're ready to submit for your permit, if I could get a copy of the
sure,
drawings.
I'll CC you on that.
okay, Kate, do we need a vote on this? What do we need? Sorry.
In the motion?
Just to send you the drawings.
Go ahead.
Reuse of the existing cells for the threshold.
For the door?
sorry, say this.
Reuse of the existing
Windowsills.
Yes.
windowsills as the original.
Okay.
And to be determined, or is it landscaping for the?
Landscape screening for the HVAC.
Thank you.
So it's,
In lieu of,
There won't be any vines or anything.
Right.
That's what gets into the
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's what,
and actually, make sure it's far away enough from any ice that comes down.
Yeah, good point.
Currently, it's like tucked underneath the overhang.
Yeah,
It's the condensing unit. It's
yeah, that's a good
yeah,
one.
they're not built for that. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, do we need to have a motion on this?
Yes, this is a,
Are there any more questions of it, or clarifications needed, either from the applicant or from the board? No, thank you. Okay, then, is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve as
discussed.
as commented upon.
As noted, as agreed.
In your notes.
yes. So we have the door with no buttons, and with no storm door in or out swinging, depending. Bluestone base or deck.
Paver.
Pavers.
Yeah.
We're talking about the pavers to the
On the deck, it would be
concrete deck.
yes, that's
Pavers.
So it'll match the pool.
with limestone with a limestone cap, and the railing then goes into that limestone cap. We have the brick as closely matched as possible. Railing needs to go down
Per code.
Steps.
Just per code, railing and steps per code.
Yeah, steps per code.
Reuse of the windowsills as the thresholds, and landscape screening.
Great. Thank you. Tom?
I second the motion.
Very good. All those, with those clarifications?
Good. Okay. So